Welcome to the Media Bubble podcast. I'm Fredrik and he's Karol. Let's get the show on the road.
Hi.
And
whoops. I already ruined the intro.
Well, let's keep it. Sure, let's go on. So I guess we're doing one of these free run episodes again, and I don't know, I kind of just thought that I could talk a little bit about what I have watched recently.
I'm more than happy to hear. I've been swamped with my life going on in all different directions, and I haven't really had time to consume any media, which is kind of bad for our podcast.
Well, recently I haven't actually been able to, but there have been some things that I have watched that I thought could be, I guess, interesting to talk about in the podcast. Like, for an example, I have watched the Netflix adaptation of One Piece.
I have yet to see it. I know that people talk online about it being good, but is it good?
I feel like it's more of a surprising good than really that it's extremely good, because I think a lot of people went into One Piece live action adaptation with a bit of a fear, because usually anime adaptations haven't received that well, because usually they're pretty hated on, because a lot of decisions that are made people really don't like.
I think also Netflix has this reputation for kind of screwing up the adaptations.
Yeah, I think it was Netflix that did both Death Note and Cowboy Bebop, which were really panned.
They also did The Way of the House Husband, and what other one was that bombed so much? It wasn't The Witcher, right?
No, The Witcher is not. Isn't The Witcher based on a Polish book series?
No, but I mean the live-action adaptation. Wasn't it also made by Netflix? Let me check.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and a lot of people were also kind of icky about it.
Yeah, I kind of liked season 1 of The Witcher, but after a while it kind of just, I guess from what I can understand is that they didn't follow the books anymore.
Yeah, one of my colleagues at work is a big fan of the Witcher series. Like, he read all the books, played all the games, and what I've heard from him is that a lot of things they changed in the series was, like, it was really diverting from canon. It made no sense.
Yeah, which is kind of a shame, because I felt like the production of Witcher was actually kind of good.
I know you're gonna hate me for it, but I'm Polish and I've never seen or played the Witcher games.
No, I haven't too. I have seen the first season of the series. More than that, I don't really know much of The Witcher.
I've only seen like the original movie, like from like 1997.
So I guess back to One Piece live action. So if I'm going through things I really like the casting of some of the characters. Like the 5 main Straw Hats, I felt really did their part of who they were playing, because they really felt like their characters. Like, I felt like Luffy, Zoro really felt like their manga counterpart in live action form. The same with Sanji too. Like, those 3 really felt like an excellent adaptation of live action form of the Goofy manga. And Nami and Usopp were still really good, and Kobe and his friend Helmeppo and Boogie, I also felt really stood out.
Jeez, I saw so many people online first for Buggy. Like, unbelievable amount. They want this clown. Hard.
I also really am a fan. I also really liked some of the episode. Like, in a way, when you watch this, you also have to understand that there's just 8 episodes, and there are decisions that have to be made, because what they are adapting is like the first kind of sea arc, I guess. Like it's the first kind of 100 chapters of One Piece where they are in East Blue. I think that's the sea that they are on.
I think you can tell me anything about One Piece and I'll believe you.
And it's kind of their journey of how, I guess, the core part of the crew first came together. It's like the first 5 Straw Hats and their respective villains, and some of the changes I liked, like the 2 first episode when 3 of the characters met, and the second episode in which they were trapped in kind of Boogie's circus. Those I really felt were surprisingly good, and it follows a pretty good tone throughout the series. But there are some decisions that you start to notice in like the 3 last episode that they are starting to have a little bit trouble of cramping everything into 3 episodes.
Yeah, you just said that they try to adapt 100 chapters of manga into 8 episodes.
Yeah, well, and the thing that I find most interesting about this series is because this series was in like production for 2 years. It had a staggering budget for each episode, and the weird part about that is that the first arc of One Piece is like that's kind of the easier part to adapt. Like I guess in the early parts of One Piece, they are just going through a bit of island land, and it seems like that is the most easy to adopt, and there isn't as much of devil fruit in these early parts, which is kind of makes me interested in what's going to happen in the future, because a season 2 has been confirmed, and a season 2 will probably start with or go through the Alabasta arc, and that probably has to have a bit much more production value in it, because for how longer One Piece goes, that it also becomes much more complicated on how to adapt things into live action form, because this is of course based on a manga, and you can draw things how you want and in a lot of creative ways. You can't really do that in live action.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. That was kind of the question on my mind. If the One Piece live action has got a second season, and how they plan on bringing in the wackiness from the series into like the live action stuff.
Yeah, that's what is going to be interesting, because as I already said before, each episode of this season had a staggering budget to it, so it's going to be, and as I said, this was kind of the easy part to adapt. The harder parts are coming up, and you're kind of like, how are they going to adapt certain things, like how are they going to adapt Chopper, for an instance, because or is he going to be CGI, and if he is CGI, like that is going to kind of be expensive to have a crew member all the time.
Exactly. You can wait. You can have him, but he's always off screen. Like he's not in focus. He's just like a doll.
Yeah, that's kind of something that I'm wondering about. Is are we going to have a lot of scenes where Chopper is kind of just like, oh, I have to stay on the boat for some weird reason or something like that?
I'm sorry, but this season we're all out of budget, so I cannot participate.
So it's going to be. I am almost more interested on how the future of this show will go.
They're like solutions to this weird world. Like I'm also thinking about like what's the character's name, the skeleton?
Brooke.
Yeah, like what are they going to do with Brooke? What are they gonna do with what's the robot name?
Frankie.
Yeah, like what are they gonna do with Frankie? Frankie is he is a character. He's a comic book character, right?
Yeah, he really is a character is animated.
So how are we gonna put him in like a bodysuit, like full Shape of Water type of deal, or are we just going like also have him just off screen?
Well, something that I was wondering about when they did Senji is, I guess with how time changes, like the One Piece manga first was created in 1997, and Senji, if I don't know how much of One Piece media you have read, Karol, but Senji is very much a lover of all kind of women.
He's a womanizer, baby.
Well, not exactly, because a womanizer really, I guess they really have success with women, which Senji kind of doesn't. Like he really loves and respects women in a way.
So he's like the ultimate woman respecter.
Yeah,
Did
you
I
can
get
think
that
of him
right?
as Brock from Pokemon when.
Oh no.
When he meets Professor Jenny or
Any woman.
yeah, he's kind of a bit like that, but almost to a higher degree.
So that's what I saw the post on Twitter about it, because people were like, oh, like because of this new live action thing, people are giving One Piece a chance, and with that become like I saw a lot of posts on Twitter going, oh, like just imagine like picture of Sanji just like, oh my god, this man is perfect. I hope like why can't I see more of him? He's like the perfect husbando. And underneath like 20 replies, yeah, that's not gonna last too long. Enjoy it while you can.
Yeah, but the thing is I was wondering in this adaptation of how are they going to adapt Senji in some way, because he is so much, because in society and just modern media of like this show isn't just specifically for Japan, like this is for audience, Netflix audience in Europe and in the Americas, and how things kind of works in that country. And Sanji, to me, I was wondering how are they going to adapt him, and I was surprised that they definitely toned him down, and it actually kind of worked for me. Like I almost liked this Sanji more than I liked his manga counterpart.
Yeah, because I mean, as you said, this manga was written in 1991.
1997 it began.
Yeah, 1997. So a lot of sensibilities about how you should react to women have changed. So maybe that's the reason for why you enjoy this Sanji a little bit more.
Yeah. I guess because he is a bit toned down. Because sometimes it felt like it got a little bit much with Sanji.
What did I want to talk about? Because I also saw a series recently, not an animated one. So as I said, I didn't really have a lot of time this week or like last week to see anything. But besides our most recent episode that we did, not gonna spoil, I've also began continuing watching How I Met Your Father. And I have to say, it's starting to be really good.
Well, did that show get cancelled, or how is it with that show?
No, don't say that. I need to check. No, I need to check.
Sorry.
Please, I don't want it to get cancelled. I'm starting to like it.
How far are you in it?
Please. No, it's cancelled. Why did you do this to me?
Right, in the Medial Bubble podcast, we have breaking news. Karol has just reacted to How I Met Your Father's cancellation.
I just wanted to gush how good it was, and it's cancelled after low scores on Rotten Tomatoes and negative reviews. No. This is why we can't have nice things in the world.
Well, what did you want to talk about it?
I wanted to talk about it because the show. So I'm on the episode when Valentina and Sophie, they're about to meet their like mutual friend that they kind of keep in touch with, and the only reason why they keep in touch with them is because like they think their lives are boring, and they were like when they meet this friend they kind of feel better about themselves. And I love this because like in the episode it kind of goes like, I have a condo but in New Jersey. Oh, I go to sleep at like 9 p.m. Like, who goes to sleep at 9 p.m.? And the show knows that Sophie and Valentina are really toxic friends. But the friend that they're back talking is also a shitty friend. So it's just like this circle of shittiness, and it's so fun to watch.
It sounds like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Like, this episode really gives off that vibe because, like, yeah, they only call this friend when they're feeling in the dumps. Like, oh, my life sucks. But not as sucks as much as, what's her name? Let's call her, like, Joni. Yeah,
So
like,
it's kind of a person that they are meeting up with so they can feel good about their own lives.
Exactly. And the funny thing is, because when, like, as they're, like, saying, oh, at least my life is not as bad as hers, that friend, Julie, I don't remember her name, Deidre, or whatever. So she is writing a book about Sophie and Valentina and saying, like, oh, and these are like my shitty friends. Sophie and Valentina, and they are day drinking, and their jobs suck, and I feel so better after meeting them because my life doesn't suck as much as their do.
So she is exactly the same.
Exactly. It's so funny, and I wanted to recommend this show, but it's been cancelled.
Well, you can still watch the episode that are there if you feel like you want to recommend them.
I still gonna. I'm just
how many seasons did it get? Was it cancelled after one or?
It's two. It's 2 seasons.
Well, at least 2 seasons.
At least, I mean, I'm half season 1, so as I said, it's like it's a cool show because Sophie is not a good person. She's a shitty person. She's vindictive. She needs people's approval, and she does the worst thing applicable at a time every single time.
Is this the main character or who is this?
Yeah, that's the main character because the main character, like, so we have Jesse. He's like the main love interest to Sophie. And he's like, yeah, so my ex came to me and said that she loves me and she wanted to go on tour with me because she's a musician. But I said no because we're meeting each other. And Sophie is like, I kind of think you should have gone with your ex instead of me. And it's like, what are you saying, girl? You like Jesse and you're saying you want to see him with his ex? To his face?
Yeah, that kind of just sounds weird when you're explaining it.
And she's like, oh, I lost Jesse. And it's like, and then she goes back to his apartment and she sees them kissing. It's like, congratulations, this is what you caused. Like, this is your fault.
Yeah, that's kind of weird if she herself has a crush on him.
But as I said, Sophie, like, she got scared because because Jesse didn't go back to his girlfriend and, like, kinda didn't go on this music thing. So she's like, oh, he gave up so much for me, and that's unfair. And she's, like, self-combusting, self-sabotaging.
How does it compare to the original How I Met Your Mother? Because it's kind of a sequel or a spin-off of that show.
It's definitely a sequel because, like, Robin Scherbatsky and Barney Stinson come back for a few episodes.
Like a few episodes, they're in not just one.
Okay, so Robin is in one episode, and I think it's been hinted at Barney from Where I Am that he will also come back.
When I think of Barney right now, I started to think about I have seen some commercials for the newest Doctor Who seasons for some reason, and Neil Patrick Harris is going to play the main villain there.
Oh shit! For reals?
Yeah, for a couple of episodes he's going to, I guess, battle against David Tennant's Doctor.
Isn't he supposed to be like the toy maker, right?
Yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Have you ever seen Doctor Who?
I've seen one episode.
I have seen a couple of, like I used to see it when David Tennant and Matt Smith played the part, but since then, not really.
I've seen one episode where people ate some kind of pill to get like skinny, but each time they ate the pill, or like a big chunk of their like fat came to life. And if you ate too many of those, like your body will just disassemble into like little meaty flesh guys.
From what I can remember of watching Doctor Who, is if you explain the plot of one episode, you're kind of like, this sounds insane. And it was kind of and it was kind of like that for every episode that aired.
But going back to the toy maker, because I'm terminally online, I've kind of heard that a lot of the earlier seasons, like before season 8, a lot of the episodes are kind of like lost to time. You can't get your hands on them anywhere.
No, I guess it might be hard.
And the thing is, since Neil Patrick Harris is playing the toy maker, he was introduced in the episodes before season 8. So a lot of the origin for the new villain, you cannot access it anywhere. And there was like a lot of the footage was lost, but not the audio. So they kind of had to rework some of the older episode into like an audio drama for Doctor Who fans.
Oh, that's interesting.
So yeah, like if you're a fan, it's kind of hard to go back and enjoy the earlier seasons and like get to know the villain.
Well, it's kind of hard to watch any old media, to be honest. Like old movies and old TV series, they are not on like streaming services, so they are a bit harder to actually watch.
Yeah, like because not every single show is a hit. Take, for example, How I Met Your Father. Like, if it's not interesting for you enough to get like a physical copy, there's a chance that this show may be lost to the void once it's taken off the streaming services.
That's kind of how you can watch the older movies, or if they aren't just randomly on a TV channel, then you kind of have to have them on DVD or something like that.
Yeah, like with time, I think we're getting back to this conversation about preservation because it's becoming more apparent that we're kind of losing a lot of the stuff that we might care about.
Do you want to know one old movie that is really popular that I watched for the first time for like 2 weeks ago? Have you ever seen The Wizard of Oz?
I know of it. I know the story. I have not seen it.
No, and throughout my life I hadn't either. Like it was always one of those weird movies that it feels like every American has grown up with, and every American reference it sometimes in shows and things like that. And I'm kind of like, I don't exactly know about this, but it's a really popular old movie from, it released in the 1939, and a lot of I guess Americans still really worships that film. Like I remember, because or films that are more made for kids and family, they kind of aren't really that much on critical list and things like that. But I remember that The Wizard of Oz, even though it's more of a family film, it scores really high on like list of all-time popular movies. Like it's in the top 10 usually. So I watched it for the first time, and I was kind of like, well, that was okay, I guess.
Exactly.
There was nothing really there, really bad about it, but there wasn't really anything that spectacularly good. Like I guess I wonder if this film was kind of the one that started this thing of the journey is the real reward, not the treasure.
The friends were the treasure was the friends and the witches we killed along the way.
Yeah, and what the things you learned on the way.
I actually, because I don't know where I've heard it from. Was it like You're Wrong About It or like some YouTube video? But a lot of things that happen on the taping of Wizard of Oz are pretty scary.
Yeah, the thing after I watched the film, I actually searched a thing on YouTube about this film, and this film productions sounds like you wouldn't want to be a part of it.
Exactly. Like Julie Garland, who played Dorothy, like it's pretty well known how she's been fed like cocaine and like she was gulping down cocaine to stay awake during the shooting of the film, and then like she was gulping down like sleeping pills and like
Yeah, and
liquids.
she was still a kid.
Yeah, and and they just, how do you say it? Like not run her dry, just like work her to the bone.
Yeah, and like if you read about Judy Garland's life, you kind of just real life of how Hollywood kind of screwed her over and how tragic her life was.
Yeah, like she's the poster child of like how abused you can be in Hollywood, right?
Yeah, she was a kid actor that even thought she was really popular. The studio was really hard on her. Like she always needed to lose weight for them, and she had a bit of trouble with that, and that's not really something that you can control with your bodies all the time. And
Especially when you're young. Like she was a kid and she's still growing.
yeah, and at the same time, she needed to work and read all these scripts, and I'm not sure if she had school during the day, but that kind of just sounds a lot for a kid.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me about like it kind of reminds me how Miley Cyrus had like a similar experience while filming Hannah Montana.
For some kid actors, it can be really hard. I have heard some sets that were really good in understanding, but you usually hear the story of how some kid actors they didn't really like their experience or
Yeah.
felt like they were forced into it, I guess.
But I actually wanted to add on top of the working conditions while filming the Oz movie. So I remember how, I think, as I said, YouTube video, I'll try to find the link, maybe I'll find it, how there was like no AC during the filming of the movie, or how Tin Man's makeup was like full of lead. It was like actually metal on skin, and he had severe like skin conditions and like health problems afterwards. How Margaret Hamilton, like she was on like there was like a scene with the broom as she was flying off, and she fell from the broom and broke her arm. And next day they were still trying to bring her on set for the movie. She didn't come because her doctor told basically the executive like she's not coming because like she will just like she won't be able to act ever if she comes. And her stunt double got onto the broom. She was about to fly off on the broom, and the broom caught on fire.
Oh, yeah, yeah. The thing also with the original Tin Man is that what you say about his skin condition was true, because the thing that they put on him, he really got a bad reaction from it. And the thing is, when he was in the hospital and was trying to recover from this thing that the studio kind of put on him, they were demanding on getting him back, but the nurse kind of said, no, he can't come back yet, and they were kind of like, well, then we're replacing you. Tough luck.
Yeah. Again, exploitation.
And there's a lot of other, for a film that is supposed to be so happy and sweet, the production of it is like the other story.
Yeah, it's just like wrapped in tragedy.
Yeah, the thing that you also said that this movie was so hot is another thing is that this was one of the earlier Technicolor film. It wasn't the first, but it was one of the first films in color, and that made I guess the filming equipment to be bigger, and it also created the sets to be a lot hotter. So that production was kind of just a big mess.
To put it in kindly.
Yeah, really kindly. Like the thing also is that because it's the Wizard of Oz, this became really well known because it's like it's one of the biggest movies. But one thing that you can also consider is that this was probably not just the Wizard of Oz. Like these poor conditions, it was probably
it didn't start with this movie.
Bigger standard.
Like, yeah, that was probably the standard, and and these standards were just blown up to like not outstanding, like to gigantic proportions, since this was the Wizard of Oz. It was a whole scale production.
Another film that I watched recently that I found very interesting to watch. I actually think that you would like this movie if you would have seen it, but it's a film called Mirror Mirror, and it was released in 2011. It's a film based on the tale of Snow White. It was also released the same year as Snow White and the Huntsman. But it's called Mirror Mirror, and as I said, it's based on Snow White, but it's like a weird parody of Snow White. I guess it doesn't exactly follow the story of Snow White the whole way through, and it was a strange watch. There were so many interesting things, I guess. Like how they first introduces the dwarves in the film is that they are, instead of dwarves, they're kind of giants, and they look a bit funny and weird. And then when the prince takes off I guess one of their disguises, it's kind of just a dwarf with these long leg hopper things, and it looks really funny, I guess you can say.
Wait, I need to look it up. I think I'm having my synapses are connecting. I think I'm beginning to form a picture in my head. Mirror, mirror.
And then there was other stuff that happened. Like at one point, the evil godmother is trying to fall in love with the prince, and she's trying to trick him. She's trying to trick him by him drinking a potion, and this potion, she gave him the wrong potion apparently, because while she started to fall in love with her, she loved him as like a dog owner, because he kind of became a dog.
What? Okay, I just wanted to say, like, wow, we love a woman who goes after her man, but she turns him into a dog.
Well, one thing that I also remember is like at the exact ending of the film, well, like when the credits goes down, they are suddenly doing a music video where like Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs sings to everyone else at her wedding.
I think I'm gonna give it a shot because it looks campy. It looks silly.
Yeah, it is campy and it is silly, and that's almost why I think that you would maybe enjoy it, because it really was campy and silly, and somehow I enjoyed it because I don't think I would have enjoyed it if I watched it the year it released, but now like 10 years after, it's like this was so campy like weirdly, one of the things that I thought about when I watched this film was because of all of the Disney live action remake and how sometimes little personality they give their some of the characters, like some of the princes. I was kind of just looking at this prince and thinking, like he is a bit weird, but he has a personality. I can give him that, because when Snow White first meet the prince, and he has and his partner has been hanged up to a tree by the dwarves because he insulted the dwarves, and when Snow White takes him down and she is asking him what happened to you, he doesn't want to admit that he was be beaten by his 7 dwarves, and he has a bit bigger pride than that, and he tries to.
But he's just not nice. He has like, he's prideful. He doesn't want to admit that he's kind of a douchebag.
Yeah, and I'm kind of just thinking about some of the more modern remakes I have gotten from Disney, and I'm like, at least he has a personality. I can give him that.
What one? I'm thinking. I want to talk about. What was the movie that's coming out now? Wish, right? That's a Disney movie.
Yeah, that's the newest Walt Disney animated movie, which I guess they are doing at the same time a campaign about 100 years of Disney.
Oh God, that congratulatory BS.
Well, 100 years is kind of a big step, I guess.
I know, but it's not the entire celebration. But have you seen? I haven't seen it myself, but there is this clip going around with like Disney Studios, and a lot of the characters are like coming out of the pictures and talking and like socializing.
Yeah, that's a special short that they made for the 100th anniversary, I guess. I have seen clips of it, yeah.
And it's like, sure, it looks like you can still do 2D, and it looks good and it feels good, but you rather use it to like make Walt Disney into some kind of like a Fawkes god of animation and innovation and whatever thing you want to market him as like Mr. What was the name? Mr. Rogers of like Western animation.
Well, I guess we have talked a little bit about recent stuff we have seen. How did you feel, Karol?
I'm feeling good. As I said, I was a little bit of a whirlwind with my life currently. Let's see. What did I get? Oh yeah, I can actually talk about something. So I have discovered quite recently, or not recently, for a while now, that my niece, she likes board games. And I could not be more thrilled, honestly. I have already planned her like Christmas gifts and birthday gifts to be board games.
What kind of board games?
So currently she's really obsessed with Labyrinth. You know what that game is?
Yeah, but I haven't played it.
So yeah, so she really loves that one. She loves like dominoes. She really likes card games. So my mom, she was like, well, maybe you shouldn't make her interested in that, because like she'll turn out to be a nerd. And I'm thinking here like, good.
Well, isn't that stuff what you like?
Yes, it is.
So in a weird way, did your mom just call you a nerd?
Yes, she did. But I'm an adult, so I don't really care if like school children call me a nerd, but I think she's maybe a little bit nervous, like, oh, if she have nerdy hobbies, it will, like, she'll be isolated.
Board games aren't, I wouldn't say that that's extremely nerdy just because you like to play a board game.
Well, I mean, not for us, but like if you're 10 or 11 and you really, really like board games, people will probably call you a nerd.
Really?
That's I don't know, maybe I'm feeling it wrong. Like, board games are popular right now, right?
well, they kind of haven't they always kind of been a bit popular?
No, I mean we're still in like board game renaissance. A lot of games are still coming out, and we have like shows like Ritual and like not Areoris from the High Rollers Club, or like Your Honor is pretty good. And these are all like actual play podcasts, so I feel like it's still popular.
Well, I guess that's a good way to end the episode then. Play more board games. As always, thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we have. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, or follow us on socials like Twitter, YouTube, or Tumblr. And also a big thanks to Jahzzar for our intro and outro comedy. See you again in the next episode, and have a wonderful day.
And play lots and lots of board games and be a nerd. Bye!